Hello students, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss the last concept from evolution. Evolution of plants. The major groups of vascular plants existing today have relatively small number of fossils which even show gaps. There are relatively few major lineages and all lineages are different from one another. Major lineages appear suddenly in the fossil record, and there is hardly any gradual and continuous change through time. Many of the major subdivisions of the vascular plants can be traced back to about 345 million years ago. So that is a Carboniferous period of Paleozoic era. The origin of seeds in land plants was achieved at this time, that is Carboniferous period. The last major evolutionary advance among the vascular plants was the emergence of flowering plants, that is angiosperms, about 140 million years ago. There is no fossil clue about their ancestors. Here it is a representation of evolution of plants. Chlorophytae ancestors, then the Tracheophytae and Rhinia type plants and Coelophyton. So from these, so between Chlorophytae and the Tracheophytae, the bryophytes and quaternary and tertiary periods of Cenozoic era. So that means these bryophytes, the evolution it starts in Paleozoic era, Carboniferous region, and they are extended up to the Cenozoic era, bryophytes. And similarly, Zoosterophyllum, that is, these plants are started to establish. That means during the Silurian period they are initiated. That means the evolution is started for this Zoosterophyllum, and they are evoluted in two forms in the Carboniferous and very early to this Permian period. They are divergent herbaceous lycopods as well as arborescent lycopods, and according to that they are evoluted, but arborescent lycopods are disappear at the end of the Permian period or before starting this early of this Triassic period. And then Coelophyton, from these the several plants are evoluted here, that is Spinopsids, horsetail, that is these are all pteridophytes, ferns are pteridophytes, gincoks, conifers are comes under gymnosperms. So all these are evoluted from the Coelophytons, and seed ferns as well as cycads, these are also gymnosperms, and from these seed forms some of them are evoluted as a angiosperms. So the angiosperm evolution is started gradually. They are become abundant during Cretaceous as well as Cenozoic, that is tertiary and quaternary periods. They are evoluted largely, the angiosperms. So the evolution of plants, hypothetical, it is clearly mentioned that how the plants are evoluted according to that eras, Paleozoic era, Mesozoic era, Cenozoic era. During this time period, how the plants are evoluted, that are all represented in this photograph. Evolution of animals. Paleontologists has discovered many transitional forms that link older fossils to modern species. For example, a series of fossils showing changes in shell shape and size provide the evidence that mammals evolved from reptiles. Different classes of vertebrates appear chronologically in the fossil records. Fossil fish appear before all other vertebrates. Then appear amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. So the first fossil appears is fishes. After that, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals are appeared. The pattern of evolution of vertebrates and that of major groups of plants are different. Let's see the evolution of vertebrates from invertebrates. So these represent, so here the fishes are the first vertebrates. So fishes are the older than mammals. In evolution, the first vertebrates are fishes are evolved first. From that, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and then mammals. So that's why youngest in the evolutionary pattern, youngest animals are the mammals, invertebrates. Invertebrates, oldest animals are the fishes. So these fishes are originate from the invertebrates. So this photograph represents that. So vertebrates are evolved from the invertebrate phylum. And here the two photographs which are mentioned here clearly, the fishes in this right side photograph. From the fishes, amphibians are evolved. From the amphibians, reptiles. So from these reptiles, birds and then mammals are evolved. So now, and in this left side photograph, these reptiles in various time periods, in which form these reptiles are evolved. So in Jurassic period, the dinosaurs, golden age of dinosaurs, and after extinct, the dinosaurs are extinct in tertiary period. Then the number of mammals and bird population is increased. So here turtles, lizards, snakes, crocodiles, these are all comes under reptiles. So in the reptile evolution, crocodiles are evolved later, younger one. And from these birds and from these reptiles, so already we are discussed the connecting link between birds and reptiles is Archaeopteryx. And birds, that is from that birds it is leads to the mammals. Here also we will discuss, that is prototherians, that is Dactylis platypus. It is a mammal, but it laying eggs, egg laying mammal. So that indicates that mammals are evolved from the birds. So in these photographs we are representing that. In before slide we are shown that from invertebrate fishes are evolved. Now in these photographs, in right side from fishes, amphibians to reptiles, reptiles to birds and mammals are evolved. And in left side photograph, from these reptiles we are considering from reptiles, how the reptiles are evolved. The evolution of reptiles starts from the Carboniferous period, and they are extended. That means up to this quaternary period of Cenozoic era. So, and from these reptiles, birds are evolved, and then mammals are evolved. So let's know about the terminology: evolutionary lineages. A lineage refers to an evolutionary sequence. Remember that the lineage word we are started to discuss in the first slide itself, evolution of plants. So what is that mean lineage? So here we will get that information about the lineage. A lineage refers to an evolutionary sequence arranged in a linear order from an ancestral group to the descendant group. And next one is evolutionary trend, a continuous change of an organism within an evolving lineage is called evolutionary trend. So the number of trends in any lineage is the same as the number of organisms evolving. The trend may be progressive or retrogressive. So what is the meaning of that progressive? So progressive if there is a general increase in the size of organs, and retrogressive if there is a general degeneration and loss of organs. So now let's once remember that evolution of horse. So in that evolution of horse we are representing nearly 5 to 6 diagrams in that a photograph. So that means each one is a one trend of that lineage. So the number of trends in a lineage is the same as the number of organisms evolving. So, and in the same photograph we can observe this progressive as well as regressive. The progressive trends in the heights of the horse is the progressive, and the retrogressive character in that is a degeneration of organs, particularly the toes. So we can understand this evolutionary trend by observing that evolution of a horse slide. So there we can find all the meanings of this continuous change of an organism within an evolving lineage is called evolutionary trend. Continuous change. So we will observe the total five. One horse is evoluted from the a shorter organism. So that leads to take total five lineages. So each lineage is considered as one trend in that evolving lineage. So there are five trends in the evolution of horse. So now in that horse we can also observe that this progressive and retrogressive evolution also. So progressive means the increasing their body sizes. It is in a progressive manner, and there is a loss of organs, that is toes or losing. The number of toes are become reducing. That we will call as the retrogressive. So here it is. I am reading that evolutionary trend, a trend in evolving lineage of this horse. That is Eohippus. That is one trend. Mesohippus, second trend, and Miohippus, third trend, and Mirichippus, fourth, Pliohippus, fifth, and finally it is Equus, horse. So total to reach that horse, evolution of that horse, there are five trends or happen in that lineage. So in all these five trends, if you are observed that in Eohippus there are four digits are present, and the digits are become one digit. That means degeneration of the digits. Four become one. That is a regressive trend. And if you consider the height of the organism from Eohippus to Equus is gradually increases. So that is a progressive trend. So in the evolution of horse, we can observe progressive trend as well as retrogressive trend. Progressive trend in the sense of height, and retrogressive trend in the sense of digits, number of digits. Origin and evolution of man. A complete classification of man is, so man belongs to kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, subphylum Vertebrata, class Mammalia, order Primates, family Hominidae, genus Homo, species Sapiens. This is the hierarchy, taxonomical hierarchy of human being. Order Primates is chiefly a product of the Cenozoic era, and it is includes lemurs, monkeys, apes, and man. So along with this man, the other animals comes under this order Primates, or monkeys, apes, and lemurs. Primates, unlike most mammals, possess prehensile, that is grasping hands and feet. They have binocular stereoscopic vision and a highly developed brain. They have a very good eye hand coordination. They tend to be omnivorous, with the exemption of humans have large canine teeth. So large canine teeth are absent in human. We have a short and uniform teeth. Canines means which are useful for tearing. That means tearing the flesh. We can observe these canines are very sharp and large in carnivorous animals. Evolution from mammals till the common ancestor of apes and humans. About 210 million years ago, in the early Jurassic period, mammals evolved from the primitive reptiles. Mammals resembled small rat-like creatures and existed with the large number of huge reptiles of that period. So mammals are existed along with that reptiles in the Jurassic period, early Jurassic period. About 60 to 65 million years ago, soon after extinction of dinosaurs and other reptiles, the mammals began to expand and occupy various habitats on Earth. So, expansion of mammals are started after extinct of dinosaurs. Extinction or expand of mammals started after extinction of dinosaurs. It was at this time that order primates got established. So the primates are established at 60 to 65 million years ago. Early primates were tiny, very small, and resembled the modern day tree screws. That is, squirrels are there, no? Like that, it is resembled. Order primates includes lemurs, tarsiers, new old monkey, old world monkey, apes. These apes are four different living apes are available nowadays. They are gibbon, orangutan, gorilla, and chimpanzees. All these four come considered as a apes, and man comes under these primates. The lemurs, tarsiers, and new world monkey diverged and evolved on different lines much earlier, while the world monkey, apes, and man began their divergence much later. So, in this point, we are saying that lunars, tarsiers, and new world monkeys are started evolved in different line earlier than the man and other apes and world monkey. About 36 million years ago, the anthropoid apes are the ancestors of monkeys, apes, and human evolved. So monkeys, apes, and humans are evolved. The ancestors are considered as anthropoid apes. About 24 million years ago, the hominids, the ancestors of apes and humans, hominids, evolved while monkeys are diverged along a separate line. So in previous what we said that lunars and tarsiers they are diverged and evolved separately. World monkeys as well as apes and humans are later they are divergent evolved in separate line. So in that three, now monkeys are evolved in separate line and apes and humans are evolved in another line. The apes evolved on two families, namely Halobatidae or Hylobatidae, Pongidae, or the two families. Under this, the apes are evolved. So, a little later, the family Hominidae, which include humans. So, again, in that apes and humans, the apes are first evolved into another line, and later Hominidae family. Under that, humans are comes under that family. It is evolved later. Now, family Hylobatidae includes gibbons. They are restricted to Asia. And family Ponzidae includes chimpanzees, gorillas, and orangutans. In this, chimpanzees and gorillas were restricted to Africa, while orangutans were found in Asia. So here it is a photograph, the representation of what we discussed the points. So we have discussed that the mammals are existed along with the reptiles, but they are tiny, small, rat-like mammals are existed along with these dinosaurs. And after extinction of these dinosaurs, the expansion of mammals are started. So now under this order primates, we are mentioned that lemurs, tarsiers, so new world monkeys, lories, and old monkeys and apes and humans are all comes under these primates. In the evolution of these primates, these lemurs, lories, and tarsiers and new world monkey, they are evolved, diverged, and evolved in separate line. But world monkeys, apes, and human, they are divergent and evolved in another line. Among these three, again, world monkeys are divergent evolved in separate line. But apes and humans are evolved in another line. Among that apes and humans, the apes are having belongs to two families, that is Hylobatidae and Ponzidae. These two families are evolved earlier than the family of humans, that is Hominidae. So similarities of all four kinds of living apes. So we are mentioned that gibbons, orangutan, gorilla, and chimpanzee all are considered as the apes. They are living apes till today. They are living. So what are the similarities between that four apes? all have large brain, all are most adaptable and have the most flexible behavior amongst all mammals. None of them has a tail, or the similarities among these four apes. So here it is a few differences between apes and man in diagrammatic representation. So when you are comparing this diagram, when compared to brain, the ape's brain is smaller than the brain of man, and in apes backbone is curved, but in man the backbone is S shaped, and in apes the thumb in a thumb is shorter, and in man the thumb is longer. And another difference we can found in this photograph is forearms are shorter in man but longer in apes. Similarly, legs are longer in man but it is shorter. That means hind limbs are shorter in apes and hind limbs are longer in man. So it is due to the erectness of the man. Evolution of man, early human ancestors. The hominids that existed about 24 million years ago were ancestors of both apes and humans. Hominids. Apes and humans diverge out of the main line of hominid evolution at different periods. Gibbons diverged from the main line about 10 million years ago. Orangutans diverged about 8 million years ago. Ancestors of gorilla and chimpanzees are about diverged about 4 million years ago. Gorilla and chimpanzee separated about 2.3 million years ago in the evolution pattern. Comparison of human and primate proteins indicates that humans are more closely linked to African chimpanzee and gorillas than other primates. Human and African apes, that is chimpanzees and gorillas, diverged from a common ancestor about 5 million years ago. The earliest known direct ancestor of man is genus Ramapithecus that existed about 14 million years ago. Its fossils have been found in both Africa and India. Remember that the earliest known direct ancestor of man is Ramapithecus. The speciality of this Ramapithecus is that it has more man-like character and less ape-like characters. Before that, it is called as a Dryopithecus. In that, more ape-like features and less man-like features. The first human-like forms, called as the Australopithecus, existed about 5 million years ago in the dry open grasslands of Africa. Because of a good fossil record, a lot is known about Australopithecus than about the earlier forms. The Australopithecus had the following characteristic features. The brain capacity was only 350 to 450 cc as compared to 1200 to 1600 cc of modern humans. You don't feel that cc is nothing but a vehicle mentioning 100 cc, 150, that is different in motor, but here cc cubic centimeters. The probable weight about 70 to 100 pounds. They were small boned and about 3.5 to 5 feet tall. They walked upright and were more human-like than ape-like. Fossil evidences suggest that there were two species, Australopithecus africanus and Australopithecus robustus. With time, Australopithecus robustus remained unchanged and became extinct, while Australopithecus africans continued to change till the evolution of modern man. They were in direct line of hominid evolution. So here it is. Hominoids, that is the first 24 million years ago. So Dryopithecus. So in this man is less man characters and more ape characters. So hominoid evolution and apes are separated. In that hominid evolution, Ramapithecus, that is existed in 14 million years ago. Sivapithecus and Ramapithecus. Sivapithecus, which are lived in Asia, and Ramapithecus lived in Africa. The oldest direct ancestor of humans. Now 5 million years ago, that is Australopithecus lived in Africa, first human-like form, and has a small brain size, walked upright and 3 to 5 feet tall. Already we are given that features. So there are two species we can found in this Australopithecus. They are Australopithecus africanus and Australopithecus robustus. They become extinct because they are remain unchanged. That's why they are extincted. And now these Australopithecus africanus are evolved as a modern man. So Australopithecus, they are evolved as a Homo erectus through the Homo habilis. First it formed as a Homo habilis, larger brain, bipedal and used tools, Homo habilis. And this Homo habilis is evolved as a Homo erectus. So under this Homo erectus, that is Java man and Peking man, they both are comes under that. So now Neanderthal man, Homo sapien neanderthalensis, as well as Cro-Magnon man. That Cro-Magnon man is the modified, that means developed as a modern man. We have more features resemble to that Cro-Magnon man. So early form of modern humans has left elaborate cave paintings, large cranial capacity, cultivated plants, domesticated animals, has spread all over the earth. So the arrow indicates the possible line of evolution. So Homo erectus, it is in two pattern of evolution, that is the Neanderthal man and Cro-Magnon man. So Cro-Magnon man is considered as the early form of this modern man, Homo sapiens. And Cro-Magnon man, we can give a scientific name as that, Homo sapiens sapiens. So now Homo erectus, the cranial capacity 900 to 1140 cc. Fire is used, stone tools are and bipedal, 5 feet tall. So all these Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Neanderthal man as well as Cro-Magnon man, all the characters we will discuss in the following slides. Evolution of man from human ancestors till modern man. Genus Homo. We are giving the scientific name of human is Homo sapiens. In that Homo is genus, sapiens are species representation. So in that Homo is the Latin name of man. So now Homo habilis. It was named by the famous anthropologist Louis Leakey. So Leakey believed Homo habilis to be the ancestor for modern man. It is existed in Africa about 2 million years ago and was supposed to have a larger brain. So this Homo habilis used tools and was bipedal. And the next one is a Homo erectus. It is a next evoluted from Homo habilis. The earliest fossils are known to be about 1.7 million years old. The famous fossil of Java man and Peking man of China date back to about 5 lakh years and are supposed to belong to the same species Homo erectus. So Java man and Peking man are comes under Homo erectus. They are believed to have migrated to Asia and Europe. They had a cranial capacity of about 900 to 1140 cc. They used fire and progressed with time using refined tools. They stood upright and were taller, about 5 feet high. And Neanderthal man. It is supposed to be primitive form of Homo sapiens and hence the name as Homo sapiens neanderthalensis. Neanderthal man lived about 70,000 to 40,000 years ago and extended from Europe to Asia. He resembled modern man but was relatively short, stocky, and heavily built. He made tools and used animal hides as clothing. His brain was almost as large as that of modern man. He lived in caves or built hut-like structures for dwelling. He made use of fire, stone tools, and buried his dead. Cro-Magnon man. Cro-Magnon man is an early form of Homo sapiens. It appeared about 34,000 years ago. The fossils of this period onwards are identical to that of modern human skeleton. It resembled modern man in size and appearance. Cro-Magnon man was a great hunter and used stone tools, weapons, spears, and arrows. He inhabited the caves of Europe and lived behind the beautiful pictures of the animals. He hunted on the cave walls in France and Spain. Modern man. The modern man, Homo sapiens, as present today, began its expansion about 10,000 years ago after the last glacial period, ice age. It spread all over the globe and became an dominating species. It has changed from cave dwelling hunting life to the crop raising life. It has cultivated plants, domesticated animals, and brought about cultural revolutions with its superior intelligence. Homology in chromosomes of man and great apes. That means similarity in chromosomes of man and great apes. A combination of molecular data and fossil evidences suggest that the great apes and man evolved from a common ancestor. The diploid chromosome number in man and in ape is 46 chromosomes, whereas in gorilla, chimpanzee, and another one, orangutan, the chromosome number is 48. The total amount of DNA in a human diploid cell is similar to that of the great apes. The amount of DNA is same in apes as well as in humans. The banding pattern of individual human chromosome is very much similar to the pattern in the chromosome of great apes. Here the photograph is representing the chromosome number 3 and chromosome number 6 of both human and ape. So in chromosome 3, human and ape, observe that pattern, that means the banding pattern is a same, similar in that. Whereas in chromosome 6, if you are observed, we can observe the difference of this chromosome pattern only at this region, only at this region. Like this minute changes, they become apes and we are become the humans, very minute. So almost the gene composition of human and apes is 97% is similar. And human blood grouping, that is blood composition of human and apes, the almost 99% of human blood composition is almost similar to that. 99% is similar in apes as well as in humans, hemoglobin of human. And the number of teeth is same in apes as well as in human, number of teeth also. And vision is also same, that is binocular and stereoscopic vision. And both nails are present in apes as well as in man, and tail is absent in both apes and man. So these are all the similarity, not only in chromosome, in phenotypic similarities also, that is having nail, presence of nail, that is phenotypic. And if you are observed the hemoglobin, that is hemoglobin composition is 99% is similar in both apes as well as in man. Thank you, students. The chapter is concluded and we will start objective part for the completed portions from the next videos onwards.